Hello and good afternoon. We are here today speaking on conflict. This is from the Insights and Wisdom of Omuugn. And today I, Angela Brown, am here with Omuugn, and we are going to unpack some interesting ideas about conflict. We're going to find out how in our personal lives we can use that to make our lives more meaningful. So please help me welcome Omuugn. Hey, Omuugn, how are you today?
Oh, great. It's good to be here this morning. Beautiful winter day.
Is it better to start with ourselves and resolve the conflicts in our own lives?
Oh, absolutely. Conflict really begins with ourselves and the traits that we have developed and the ways in which we have matured spiritually and emotionally and intellectually and physically. There are a lot of things like people have a tendency to make New Year's resolutions, but how many follow through with those resolutions? It sounds really good when you say, I'm going to exercise this year. And 5 o'clock in the morning comes and you say, I'm really tired. So you don't do that. We find that a lot of the goals that we set are unrealistic or we're unwilling to discipline ourselves to fulfill those things that we really want to do. I know that I have on my list to exercise every day. And yet some of my days are simply so busy that I will not.
I agree
So
with you on that because I too find myself in that situation. And I discovered that no one was going to show up to hold me accountable. When it comes to my sleep and my eating and my exercise, I myself am responsible for those things. I discovered that in order to avoid conflict in my own personal life, I had to stand up to the plate and say, I will be responsible for those three things. I forced myself to change my schedule around so that I'm holding myself accountable and responsible. And a lot of the conflict that I was facing on a regular basis, it was conflict that I had created. I'd allowed that into my life by choices that I'd made. And once I changed the choices and I really became responsible for my own choices, I was able to reduce some of the conflict at a granular level. I find I'm my own worst enemy. I'm the one that's creating the conflict.
the point that you bring up is a good one in that we tend to say a lot of things without meaning. If we actually sit down with ourselves and say, I'm going to make some resolutions for this new year, everything that I list on this list, I'm going to do. I'm going to prove to myself that I can be disciplined, that I can be consistent, that I can develop the traits that will actually produce the end result that I'm trying to accomplish. If we make our resolutions with a lot more thought and commitment, then we would have a different result. There's a law called cause and effect. And whenever we're experiencing an effect, it's caused by something. If we don't deal with the cause, we're always going to have the same effect. Someone once said, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always be where you've always been.
I think that is true of the resolutions that we make. If you say, I'm going to get up and go to the gym, what does that mean? That means I have to go to bed earlier. And if I'm going to bed earlier, what does that mean? That means you have to cut off your work day at an earlier time so that you can get in dinner and you can do all the evening routines so that you can go to bed earlier, so that you can get up earlier. And I think there's a domino effect where you just can't say, I'm going to change, and you change one domino, it doesn't have a rippling effect. But if you change all the dominoes in the lineup, it changes the pattern of where you're headed.
Absolutely. We need to ask ourselves the questions, if you're going to change your schedule, for example, how is that going to impact the people around you? If you're a member of a family, it's going to change the way that family interacts with you. And it may be that the whole family needs to go to bed earlier because you can't go to bed and sleep if televisions are blurring or internet is on and people playing games or whatever it might be. But you need to be able to work together and plan together. In our home growing up, we had a lot of family councils where we tried to bring all the people together and say, this is what's going on today. These are the plans. This is what we expect everyone to do. These are the job assignments. All of these things have to take place. The more clearly and specifically you can communicate what has to happen, the more everybody's on board with the same program, the less conflict you're going to have.
This was a great topic. I have learned so much, and I think this is a phenomenal lesson for anybody that's just going from point A to point B in life. Learn to resolve the conflicts. If you haven't already, please pick up your copy of the Insights and Wisdom of Omuugn. We are going through this with Omuugn to discover some of the interesting insights and wisdom that will help you become a better person so that you can be the very best version of yourself. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you again next time.